Lina Khan is one of my favorite people. Lina, thank you so much for being with us today.
Welcome.
So great to be here with you.
Just we were talking about Trump's fake populism. Do you agree that it's fake populism?
Well, look, I think if you focus on what he's actually done rather than what he is saying, then absolutely. I mean, the signature legislative accomplishment of this administration has been to throw tens of thousands of people off their health care to fund a tax break for the wealthiest of the wealthy in this country. They have shuttered key federal agencies that were on the front lines of protecting Americans from corporate lawbreakers, from corporate scammers, from price gougers. And so, I mean, on its face, it's really difficult to square whatever populism we hear once in a while with the actual actions that this administration has taken.
He has defanged your agency, my old agency, the Federal Trade Commission, and also the Consumer Financial Protection Agency, and he continues to, this is what Trump is really known for. He says things that have absolutely no consequence. He just says, it's like, I would love to have this, or this is going to happen, and nobody holds him accountable for anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting phenomena for sure. And we saw even during the campaign, he was talking about capping, credit card fees and rates. And so, there is some component of him or his coalition that I think recognizes that people want a leader who's willing to stand up to corporate lawbreakers and powerful interests. But then you just look at who he was surrounded by at his inauguration. Right, the kind of billionaires and oligarchs who more or less have gotten everything they want out of this administration, and so there's just a fundamental tension there.
He keeps talking about prices are down, grocery prices are down. He says he's going to cap interest rates for credit cards at 10%, though then we see for 1 year. Let's be clear about that. He's talked about CEO pay. He's talked about getting private equity out of single-family home purchasing.
Rental units. I mean, but nothing is going to happen. I mean, we know this. Nothing's going to happen. Lina, can we just pivot to something that is much more positive, and that is the Mamdani administration and what you guys are doing? I mean, I'm impressed. Already, it looks like childcare may come through.
Yeah, I mean, Mayor Mamdani has really hit the ground running, and, it's only been a couple of weeks, but every day there has been some new announcements, some new action. I think he is honestly really demonstrating what it looks like for Democrats to govern assertively rather than meekly. Within his first day, he announced new, protections that he'd be seeking for tenants. He actually visited a slumlord building and was kind of inspecting the horrible conditions there, announced that they would be doing these rental ripoff hearings across the city to hear directly from tenants. He passed an executive order that is going to be initiating a crackdown on junk fees, on subscription traps. And just yesterday, he stood with Deputy Mayor for Economic Justice, Julie Su, head of the Consumer and Worker Protection Agency, Sam Levine, and announced a major lawsuit that the city has initiated against one of these delivery app companies where they were, breaking the law and abusing their workers. And so he's really eager to act quickly, urgently, and make a difference in people's lives.
Lina, I know New York City, and I know how almost impossible it has been for even the best people who have been mayor to get good things done, because there's so many special interests that are very, very powerful in New York. He's hit the ground running. Is he going to be able to continue that? And if so, where is he getting the political backwinds to help him continue to have victories?
Well, he won, the mayoral race with more number of votes than any mayoral candidate going back decades. There is a clear political mandate here, and he's no stranger to special interests. It's fair to say he was not the preferred candidates of the special interests of New York City, and prove them wrong and prove that he could build a winning coalition. And he's very focused on how do you govern in a way that is keeping engaged the very people that got him elected. And, all too often people cast their vote and then they never hear from their government again. And 4 years go by and they're like, what actually changed in my life, if anything? And that's not a model of governing that he wants to follow. He really wants to be hearing directly from the people of the city. He is regularly out in the streets with them. He is very aware of how oftentimes these positions of power are structured in a way so that the only people you're usually hearing from are the CEOs, are the lobbyists, are the special interests. And he wants to be a mayor that breaks from that and that is actually hearing from the masses across New York every day. And so I think that's going to be a key input. He created this new Office of Mass Engagement and is thinking very hard about how can he make sure he is directly hearing from the broad swath of the population rather than just the special interests.
Interesting. Office of Mass Engagement.
Yeah.
I like that. Barack Obama tried to keep all his voters and supporters together to push things that he thought were important, but that really didn't last. It was very hard to keep them together. But it may be that at the city level, and particularly with Mayor Mamdani, he had an army of 100,000 people going door to door, including my granddaughter. On his behalf, and maybe that's the answer. You keep that kind of army. You activate people before you're elected to the extent that they just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a challenge for how do you really do this, and so many of the default ways to engage with government are set up for those special interests and the experts, right? Submit a comment, and this is no notice and comment docket, right? I mean, people don't necessarily have time for that, or so how you actually construct opportunities for people to be engaging and sharing their stories is going to be really key. And he's shown he's interested in tackling problems big and small. In the first week, he went and fixed this notorious bump that had been on one side of the Williamsburg Bridge that had become a huge hazard for bikers.
The Williamsburg bump. I remember the Williamsburg bump.
Exactly. And he, said, let's fix this. Can we fix it tomorrow? Let's go do it, and did it. And so, I think there is a real eagerness to show tangible progress and improvements in people's lives as quickly as possible, wherever that may be.
So he's a terrific example of taking power and doing progressive goodness with it. And we have a lot of different mayors, governors who are now taking power and figuring things out.
Seattle, Miami. Mm-hmm. I mean, and Boston.
Yep. But my question for you is, what can other Dems learn from this? I mean, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, right? If you can make social democracy work in there, you can make it anywhere. Aren't there bigger lessons here? I mean, people keep saying, oh, he wasn't going to win, he was going to win. He did. He's acting. What should other people be taking from that?
Well, look, first of all, he's really curious about the problems that people face in their day-to-day lives. And one of the things he did throughout his campaign was went and listened to people, right? One of the first videos he made was he asked people who they voted for in the 2024 election and asked Trump voters why they voted for him. A few months later, he went and interviewed somebody who runs a halal cart here and asked, why is it that chicken and rice used to be $8 and now it's $10? Like, what changed for you, right? So he has this posture and position of wanting to learn from people about what are the day-to-day problems. And then he's interested in figuring out what can we actually do about it? What are existing legal authorities, existing tools that we already have that we can use in an assertive way? And I think there's no substitute for that groundwork, both on the curiosity and learning and then being eager to use existing tools. Beyond that, though, he's also demonstrated courage and a desire to fix people's problems, even when it means standing up to very, very powerful interests. And for my time at the FTC, I certainly sensed that there is a real hunger across this country, in red states and blue states and purple states. People want a government that is willing to fight for them.
And fight special interests and fight the big money. I mean, New York City, I do not know the people who were outraged because they're all in Davos. or they're going to going to Davos. But the financial community in New York, particularly, they say no. We don't want taxes. We don't want higher taxes. We're going to do everything we can to avoid it. I mean, we even see that in here. There's a wealth tax proposal in California, and a lot of even Democrats, very wealthy Democrats, are saying no way we're going to do that. So tell us, how do you think Mayor Mamdani is going to deal with the big money in New York?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, a lot of this comes down to what are actions that are within his own disposal and control versus what are initiatives that are going to require city council to act or the state legislature to act or the governor. Obviously, when he is dependent on other institutional actors, there's going to be an opportunity for the people who got him elected to also make clear to them what do they want to see from those people too. And so, I think it's going to be a situation where we need to see that courage and that engagement continue.
Do we think the billionaires will come back from Davos? Are they just going to stay there?
Maybe
Have
they
they
should
all
stay
fled
there.
Manhattan yet?
Maybe maybe that's the way we deal with this billionaire problem. Just keep them at Davos. Lina, how are you? How is, I mean, besides being cold in New York City, I mean, how's your morale? How's your spirit in the midst of, not only Mamdani, but you're part of the country and you see what's happening in Minneapolis and elsewhere?
I mean, it's a deeply disturbing, depressing time on so many fronts. People's insurance premiums just skyrocketed. There are going to be people who are going to no longer be able to afford health insurance. People are already having to ration their medicines. People are having to take out loans just to buy groceries. So this is a difficult time for people before you even introduce kind of, authoritarian forces and dynamics that we're seeing. And I think that's why the stakes are so extraordinarily high here in New York, but across the country. And people, again, are really looking for leaders who are going to lead us out of this mess.
Well, you are now working for a leader who will hopefully is already leading us out of this mess. And you are a leader who is leading us out of this mess. Lina Khan, thank you for your time and your energy and your leadership.
Thank you so much for having me.